Alright guys, so as you can see, I went and got my jack. Let me show you my jack that I went to get. I went to get my jack and I put my jack up underneath here with a couple of pieces of 2x4 up underneath there. So I can once I put that board up underneath here like that, guys, I can able to jack this piece up, because I don't want the whole vehicle to go up. I just want this piece to go up, and it would have gone up so easy if I hadn't put the transmission bolt back in. But like I said, I wanted to use the transmission mount as a guide, because once you connect that back and connect the centerpiece, the center cross member, that holds this middle piece back into place, and it's level right now where it needs to be. The only thing, it needs to go back into the two groove. There's one groove on this side right here, guys. There's one groove right here that it needs to go back and get back right into the groove where it needs to be, and there's one on the driver's side as well. But even when I'm done that, I still can't do the gluing as yet. I can glue the top, because they recommend that when you glue this thing, you wait at least 24 to 48 hours to let it properly dry before you put any pressure on it. But like I said, there's a piece underneath here, guys, and this piece is it holds this from moving, and the only way I could get the engine out was to cut this piece out from both sides in order to get the engine out, because I could have gone either way. I could have either take this out or I take the hood off, and I didn't want to take the hood off because, like I said, it keeps raining every now and then, and I didn't want to leave this open. You know, I could have taken it off and take the engine out, but it still would have been hard to come out, because you know, this engine is a big engine and it's coming all the way from the back, so it still wouldn't, you'd have to, this front would have to make it pass here. This whole front of the engine would have to make it pass here. This little gap right here, you'd have to make it pass both the engine and the transmission in order for you to bring it forward. So what I did was just cut this off, and I have to put it back on the way it came off. And I'm gonna use some diesel fuel on here, because it's scraped up on it a little bit, and I started to see. And this was a brand new piece that I had bought, because the original piece that came with it was a white piece that came across, and it was all beaten up and stuff like that, and it wasn't proper, because when I changed this engine mount and I took these two bolts here out, it was hard to go back in, and I was driving on just one bolt because the next bolt wouldn't go in because it was bent and all of that. And this vehicle haven't gotten into an accident. I just don't know why this middle piece was bent the way it was. So I had to buy this piece off eBay, and it was only $86 for it, surprisingly, and I got it within 5 to 6 business days from Detroit Axle. Those guys sell some amazing stuff, guys. I'm telling you, Detroit Axle, you need to check them out. I always buy my stuff from A1 Auto, but Detroit Axle, most of these engine mounts and transmission mounts and all these things that I have on here, all my my stabilizer bars on my shocks and my struts and all of that stuff, it either comes from Detroit Axle or A Premium Auto. A Premium Auto, they're like AutoZone, but they get everything that AutoZone don't even sell, and they sell at a reasonable price, so I go with them. And the reason why I'm using my jack underneath here, guys, because I said I'm not gonna sit around and wait for those parts to come before I put this back, because like I said, this takes, it's a liquid glue you have to use to put it back, and this only serves as a purpose for the radiator, so it doesn't have much pressure on it. It only serves as the radiator support to put the radiator back on it, and a couple of clips, and the harness, my ABS harness has to go back on here, and it has to clip back into these little holes right here, and run back all the way up to here. So that's where my ABS goes. And so this is a guide, guys, and I just want to get these out the way so I can show you around back here and how it's supposed to line up, because like I said, I had used a marker to mark where I took it from when I was taking it off, but because I had rubbed it down and all of that stuff, the marker I lost the mark that I marked it. But you know, I can actually see how it was on it originally when I took it off. So you know, and it's easy to do this, guys, if you have the right tool. And what you want to do before you start gluing these back, there's also, because there's the top part right here, guys, and then there's a bottom part underneath here that also has to be liquid glue. But those, you get to those from that side. You have three little holes or four little holes on the driver's side, because the battery is sitting there, so you don't get much play. But on this side you have 2, 4, 6 little holes, and that's where you feed the liquid glue from. And I'm going to show you, because I have to go and re-drill those holes, and I should have re-drilled those holes before I put this in, because I would have seen how far to put my drill down, my drill bit. But like I said, this is iron, so as soon as my drill bit touch on this, it will stop. And I don't really, I just don't want no holes to come through here, because now the hole come through here and it's not going to hold the bottom. It's meant to be solid, and then you put the liquid glue through the hole, and it comes back on this piece and sits on the back part, and it glues it. And that's why they haven't painted the inside of this part. They haven't painted, they leave it natural metal that the liquid glue can work on it. So with no further ado, I'm just gonna just do this, and I just want to show you where the gap is at right now. Right up here, this is where the gap is at, because I know you guys can do it yourself. I know that, there's no doubt about it. Right up here, this is where the gap is, and this is where I need to be. And it was down, so I'm using my jack. I'm using my jack as a guide, because like I said, this is already bolted tight in the middle here. So once it's bolted in the middle, it can't move back and forth. The only way it can go is up and down. But you can pull this thing up, guys. You can pull this thing up. And before you glue this thing, guys, you always want to make sure that you have it lined properly up. Like I said, this is for your radiator, but there are other things that sits on your radiator. So right about there is where it sits in the original factory, and that side is done. But now one side goes up and the next side won't go up. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna release the jack. I'm going to release the jack, and I'm going to bring it out a little bit more, because it's bringing up one side more than how it's bringing up the next side, and I want both sides to go up even. So, and I know it's Monday and it's close to your guys' lunchtime, but you know, I just want to show you how you put this centerpiece back in and how you level it up. Like I said, the only thing that can bring it up is the jack, and I'm just gonna shift the jack a bit over, a little bit more to the driver's side, and see if it will bring it up from over there, because I want both sides has to be leveled, guys. Both sides has to be leveled. You can't have one side bearing more than one. Both sides has to be leveled. in order for it to work. So I'm just gonna go up again with my jack, and I'm gonna see if I can bring the driver's side up, because the driver's side is tight, and that's how I want it to be, because it's not supposed to it's supposed to be tight. And I have two ways I can go about it. I can catch this side, let it glue, and glue this side, let it dry, and then I can go over to the driver's side. But I want to catch both sides at the same time. And it also has a guide underneath the bottom. It also have a stopping point underneath the bottom. So sometimes you don't even want to watch the guide on this, because the two sides of these guys, this side and the driver's side, and they're different design and everything. The way the driver's side part is designed, this part is not designed like it. So sometimes you can't watch this. You just have to bring it up until it stops, and if that side goes up and it's not moving, and you look underneath the bottom and you see, because right now this is at its maximum peak, and you can't let it be too tight, because you have to leave the gap in here in order for the glue to go down, and the glue goes down one part here, one part here, one part here. So it's a 3-column. It's a 3-column on this side, a 3-column on that side. And like I said, I'm not really watching over there too much, because if it goes up and it tightens here and it tightens up there, because underneath here it has a stopping point. When it stops, it can't go no further. It stops underneath there, guys, and it can't go no further. So yeah, that's it. It won't go no further. Okay, guys, so right up underneath here, this is the bottom part. This is the bottom part. This is the bottom part that goes all the way out to here. All right, so this bottom part right here has to go and it has a guide underneath here that it doesn't go up any further than where it's supposed to go. So once you knock it up, and it won't go no further, you know, that's the maximum the maximum height is supposed to go. And like I said, the driver part of this is different from the passenger side. It's built different. It looks the same, but it builds different. There's two different design on both sides, so you can't watch one side is higher than the next side. And underneath here is one guide to know that it reaches maximum peak. And then right on the side here, guys, what I was showing you, these are where the little holes are. I have to re-drill these holes, because this is where you catch the bottom from with your liquid glue. And so this whole thing, this whole metal brace is not fully glued in, because they do it for a reason, that you can cut it out in case something happens, because it's also an interchangeable part. It's also an interchangeable part. So right where you see this middle bolt here, I left that bolt in, because that's what bolt down my my transmission oil cooler line. But I'm going to take that out because I have to drill these holes, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 holes alone here on this side that I have to drill, because that's where the liquid glue is goes in. On the driver's side, guys, right here on the driver's side, there's only 3 holes on this side, on the driver's side, that holds the bottom of this one right here. So you have 3 on this side here, and it's also flush at the bottom, so it let me know that it reaches its peak up here as well. And here, this is where I was telling you that you can watch the difference of up here. Up here you can't watch the difference, because it's showing you that there's a gap. It's showing you right Let me see if I can bring this down and show you where the gap is. We're showing you the gap right here. It's showing you that there's a gap up top here. Up top here is showing you that there's a little gap, but you can't watch up here because, like I said, I had rubbed it down, and all you want to make sure is that it's on the bottom part. It can't move, and you make sure it's center in here. That's the only thing you have to make sure it's center. So this here looks like it just want to go out a little bit more, and not too much, but yeah, that's how you get this middle piece here in, guys. This middle piece here, that's how you get this in. And you catch it from the top up here on the driver's side, and you catch it from the top at the passenger side, and you catch it from the bottom. This side, you just push the glue down in here, and you see it has 3 columns again. You put the glue on each column. You don't put any in the middle right here. I think right down here there was one down here, because after I cut this top part up here off, I still had to go back down in the middle and cut this. But like I said, you can, if you want, it's up to you. If you want, you can put the glue all the way across. But like I said, there's 3 columns, and in the 3 columns there are 3 spaces. There are 2 spaces in between 3 columns. So they make it like that for a reason, that no glue goes down in there. So the glue only goes on each of these columns, column 1, 2, and 3. And you take your chisel and you pop it out when you're taking it off. And when you glue it back down and the glue is all dried and everything, then you can knock this back in and straighten it and stuff like that, and get on with the way. Alright guys, so I'm on the side of my radiator support bar. It is called the radiator support. You can get the aftermarket ones, and the aftermarket ones are built exact the original way. The original one is built, and it comes and it connects back to here on the passenger side, and it connects to the driver side. But like I showed you on how you get it, before you weld the 2 ends back together, you want to catch the center piece, which is not really center, because the way it is situated, there's a cross member that comes, the front cross member support for the your front engine mount slash transmission mount. It connects there, and it's not really in the center. It's a little bit opposite, more to the driver's side than it is to the passenger side. But before you catch the 2 ends and glue them in, you want to make sure you catch the center bolts, and once you catch the center bolt, you know it's even on both sides. And don't worry about it coming off here a little bit too much, because as soon as the glue is dried, you can take a chisel and a hammer, and if the hammer can't get into here, up in top there, you can use the hammer or the chisel to knock the ends back together. But you have to leave the ends out. On the top, you have to leave the ends out in order for the glue to go down. And once the glue go down and dry, but before it dry 100%, you want to knock it back in, because once it dry, then you can't knock it back in and it's not going to move. So you want to knock it back in and make sure it's sitting flush on here, and it doesn't have to sit 100% flush, because like I said, it's not going to be 100% flush once you get it back in, but you have to get it away so you can able to put the liquid glue back in. And as you can see, I already got my drill hooked up and ready to go. This is a heavy duty drill, and there's just certain things I use it on, like metal and stuff like that, because this thing, if like you're drilling like a wood or something, or you're drilling down into a thick metal and this thing stops, this thing can break your hand, because it's the heavy duty one. And that's why they make it with a handle, because a lot of people hold their drill like this, they hold the drill like this and try to drill, and you can do that with a little small drill, but not the heavy duty drills like these. These are the commercial ones, guys. These are the commercial ones, the heavy duty that can drill down into anything. And it says up here, it says industrial. You see what it says up here? It says industrial, guys, industrial. So it's a heavy duty drill. So you want to make sure when you're drilling you hold it proper and tight, because this will prevent it from going left and right and break your hand, because it will break your hand. Alright guys, as you can see, I went to grab my gloves because like I said, it's wet out here, and I left this drill outside, and I also left my my extension cord outside in the rain, and all these things got wet, and when I was pressing on the trigger, I was feeling a little sting, a little stench, like it was shocking me. And it will happen when these things are wet. Here we go, guys. Alright guys, so now that I've made my mark, and I you don't want to push too hard when you're drilling back these, re-drilling these holes, because the metal is right there, right here, is close, is almost on here, so you don't want to drill through that back piece. The support, you don't want to drill, you don't want to make holes through those, because once you make holes through them, then no, it's not gonna have any proper tightening up underneath here. You just want to drill right back to where you can fill the holes in. Right up underneath here, guys, is where you're gonna set your hole, and you can just use a screwdriver. You don't want to pull it out too much, but you just want to use a screwdriver that you know. And sometimes you can even punch the hole, because the holes they're already out, already cut, already bored through the holes. I just need to punch them, use something to punch it, and they will come out. The metal right there, see that, because they're already being drilled. They're already drilled out, so, and you don't want to drill too far in. You see that? And now I'm down to the bottom of this, and you have to leave a, you also because you don't want to glue this whole area here, because once you glue this whole area here, you can get that support off and reuse it, because now you're gonna have to cut this whole piece of support part off to get it out. And that's why they make these little holes right here, guys. They're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Not the center one. The center one is where the bolt goes back in to hold your transmission oil cooler line. Is 1, 2, 3, 4. So two on the left, 2 on the right, and 2 at the bottom. And on the driver's side is only 3 holes that holds that part over there. And then there are 2 holes up here. You can use these 2 holes if you want to. These are 2 spare holes, but I'm not going to put anything in here because it didn't come that way. And they make it that you have the gap that you can use your screwdriver or your drill, or anything, and you can get down. When you're taking it off, you put it underneath here and you can prise it out, and you can cut it, or whichever way you chisel it out, or whatever. What I did, I used a small chisel to pop these holes. I popped the bottom ones first, and once the bottom ones was popped, then I start popping the top ones, and then it slide down. And these are your liquid, the liquid glue. Your liquid glue is gonna go right back in these holes. And once I fill these holes, what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna use my hammer to knock it back a little bit, and I'm gonna use a vice grip to hold the 2 part together, both the inside and the outside. I'm just gonna put a vice grip on it, but where I'm gonna put the vice grip, I don't want to put the vice grip on the metal glue that it seals the vice grip on here. So I'm going to position it in a way that it's not touching it, but it's enough to hold the bottom part together. All right, so that's how you do that part up there. And like I showed you up top, guys, because I'm going to catch the top before I catch the bottom, because once I catch the top, I'm home free. And this is the top right here. This is the top right here, guys. This is the top right here where I'm gonna feed my glue from, and it has 3 columns and a space in between. So you put the glue on 1 column, 2 column, 3 column, and then you knock it back and let it sit on there. All right, but you have to leave space there in order for the glue to go down. And you can't put the glue shallow. You have to put it all the way far down enough that it holds this thing.
Africon 50